Hey guys, it's Marcos. This is going to be more of a podcasty type video because we're just talking about the new format and stuff, not a lot of visuals. Reason I'm putting this disclaimer at the front of the video is because I accidentally typed the word Dondozo into a text box while I was recording, and that just stays on screen, and I'm not fixing that. I'm not re-recording like in a 40-minute video to get rid of that. So listen while you do the dishes or whatever. See ya. We are back. And when I say back, I mean we are back. You know who's back? Palafin. No, I don't think he's actually going to be amazing. I'm here.
This guy sucks.
I don't think Palafin's going to be good. I think people are too hyped up.
This guy's gonna be miserable playing Rillaboom.
Yeah. All right. So, for those of you wondering why is Palafin back? Also, this is James Evans. Not Knoxville Regional Champ. You won the next one. Which one was it?
Yeah, Knoxville Regional Finalist, Vancouver Regional Champion.
Vancouver Regional Champion. That's the one.
So I also won Worlds at some point.
Yeah, you're a world champion, but it didn't matter because you used Araquanid. It's a fake Pokemon.
What do you mean? We get to talk about him today.
Yeah, because he's gonna be good. It's gonna be awesome.
No, we get to talk about P2 Araquanid again. I'm so excited.
All right, so if you're wondering what's happening, Game Freak said, "What do you mean paradoxes and legends are legal?" Oops, and they took it back. So what happened is we've been playing Regulation G, where you can use like Kyogre and stuff, and Game Freak heard our complaints. We're tired of using these legendary restricted Pokemon, and James Freak was in his office and he goes, "You're tired of legendaries, huh?" And then he banned all of them. So Regulation H begins in September. Two things are going to happen in Regulation H. The metagame is going to, ban all the restricted legendaries and the regular legendaries and all the paradox Pokemon, which means that some lower tier Pokemon from the earlier regulations and even some like DLC Pokemon that were in like the Kitakami decks or whatever that never really got viability might now become a lot stronger. The second thing that's gonna happen is everyone who said that the only reason they can't win is because of Lando and Urshifu is gonna find out they suck at the game. So yeah, we're just gonna talk about like the impact of this rule set. It begins in September, and then in January we go back to playing Regulation G.
Fun
so it
times.
seems like the next few formats are gonna be Regulation H, then back to Regulation G. And then Regulation I is most likely double restricted, which is going to be the World Championship.
Agree.
Yeah, so
I think that's what we're doing here.
I like it. I think this is a good pacing for formats. I think that format pacing went a little too quick in 2022 or 2023. Yeah. I think we had way too many formats.
3 months is too short. 4 months is okay. I would prefer if it was 6 months.
That's just 2 formats, though. I think 3 is the sweet spot.
I would say this may be a debate for another day.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about that some other time.
This channel is partnered with GamerSupps. If you want to support my work and get great tasting drinks, you can order GamerSupps through my link in the description down below or with code Moxie boosted at checkout for 10% off. GamerSupps is a caffeinated product that I recommend only to my 18 plus viewers, but my link will send you to their caffeine-free product section just in case. Every product purchased through my link supports my channel financially, so I'd really appreciate the support. Now back to the video. All right, so what are your thoughts? What are like your standout picks?
So I would say the first thing that I immediately recognized is that not only are obviously all the good paradox Pokemon are gone, but like all the legendaries are gone too, and that's kind of weird because we've never had we've had formats before where like some legendaries are just not in the game. I think like a good example is
he's gone.
He's gone. He's too good. Illegal. Contraband. What is he? I was just saying, we've had formats before where like a lot of legendaries have been banned because they're not in the game. Except Urshifu seems to find its way into everything like a disgusting weasel.
Reg D.
But like we had formats like 2014 before. Where like I think a good example is like we have the trio of legendary birds available. I think another kind of I would say like 2017 had Ultra Beasts. So like we've had like very clearly like powerful Pokemon before, but even then like you kind of see some things like slide through like Buzzwole, like where like they're clearly good, but because they're not at like the upper echelon of like that kind of group of Pokemon, they're just kind of more niche. And it's kind of similar here with all legendaries and all paradoxes being banned, there are like a lot of, I would say, unique Pokemon in that list. Like, I think Screamtail's a really good one that's like interesting in a lot of scenarios that not a lot of people give a lot of attention to. That it's just outright banned now. It's kind of like a Powdon in Series 6. It's like, all right, free my boy.
Yeah.
Like I was, it's very similar because like
I'd
I was gonna say,
Iron Thorns getting banned was the biggest egregious one. He's not even better than T-Tar.
I was saying, like, but yeah, Pokemon.
Wait.
But we can talk about T-Tar. I'm so excited to talk about T-Tar.
I think the thumbnail for this video is gonna be, this is bullshit. What is it? It's like, sorry, Iron Thorns, we just don't think you qualify as a Pokemon. This is bullshit. You let Tyranitar in, and then Tyranitar. He goes, sand streaming is an important part of a child's growth. Read a book.
Important part of a senior's play style.
Yeah. Oh my god.
What is it? But I was gonna say, yeah, so even Pokemon that like I feel like have had historically good use. Like I think a good example is Latios and Latias. I'm kind of glad Latios isn't in the game by itself because it would kind of shred through this format like tissue paper. There are no fairies in this format at all. And I guess that I can start by talking about arguably the most interesting fairy to me, which is Primarina.
Yeah.
This Pokemon's stats are not okay. I don't know. I guess like a good way to start this is like, if you didn't play Dynamax, like Generation 8 with Primarina, this at a point was the best Dynamax Pokemon in the entire game, and it wasn't even close. This guy has absurdly good stats for no reason.
It's also got the only single target, like, accurate water move that's strong in this game.
Yeah, so like it has a lot going for it. It has two great abilities because usually Torrent isn't like that good. But because obviously its defense is slightly low, it actually does find itself kind of taking advantage of that more than the other starters would. And because I would say you have something like Hyper Voice, you can kind of add up damage quick. Liquid Voice is another
good. Life Orb Spray better.
Liquid Voice is another really good ability. Although this one kind of does some things to your moves that are funny. I would say it also gets Haze, which I would say we can talk about Dondozo in a minute, but the first thing I did was immediately I was like, all right, there are a lot more Haze users now. Let's take a look at what those guys are.
Yeah, Chandelure. Oh, that's not gonna get used. Blastoise might legit.
No, I would love to talk about Shandy.
Yeah, Blastoise might legit have some use just because it's Icy Wind fake out Haze. Like it depends how good Dondozo is.
I was really excited at Alolan Muck potentially having a chance to return with its base 105 attack stat in an instant format. I would say chances are it's probably not going to be amazing, but Poison and Dark is a really, really good type. It has access to knockoff. It has Haze and Clear Smog. But real quick, just to jump back to Prim, it's one of the few Pokemon that I think has a very interesting move in Perish Song. I think literally only, from what I looked at, like 2 Pokemon get it that are remotely viable, and it's this guy and Politoed. And one of them is Politoed, so congrats Primarina, you are the only Perish Song user in the entire format. But yeah, I would say that's an interesting Pokemon. I think given a little more time, people are gonna be like, oh, this is a real guy, that can do a lot of things. It gets a lot of unique, like, support moves. It gets Encore, it gets Helping Hand, Life Dew is cool, Perish Song again, like I mentioned, Light Screen.
Yeah.
Like, just a lot of moves that can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I think this guy is ultimately like a big one to watch out for. And another water type that I think can be very interesting is Milotic, because again, Milotic is in a similar boat where it's been good before previously. Competitive is a great ability. It gets access to Haze. It gets access to a lot of stupid things like Coil and Hypnosis.
Welcome back, Coil, Hypnosis, Recover, Milotic.
Yeah, welcome back. I would say it also is one of the few Pokemon in the game to now still have Scald, which is
oh my god, yeah,
a pretty big deal. Yeah. So it does have like a lot of things going for it, in my opinion. Obviously,
wait, there are a few Pokemon that Scald in this game. What the hell? When did that happen?
Really? Okay, let me peep. Oh wow.
Wait, when did that happen? Maybe this is wrong. I feel like these Pokemon don't get Scald.
No, they added it back in the Kitakami.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's because Sinistcha gets it.
I see you hovering over Sinistcha. I would love to talk about that guy too.
That mon's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be so good.
Oh, there is one Pokemon we should definitely talk about before anything else.
Yes, type it in.
Number 1 Trick Room Man.
Oh boy.
This guy's gonna be
you know
absurd. I want to give my thoughts on this guy. So,
Alright.
Ursaluna for Farigiraf was a combination that dominated early Regulation F. And frankly, if someone brought Ursaluna for Farigiraf, like the standard one that we see today, the Terra Normal Nuke set, to Portland, I don't think people would have stood a chance. There was so little people prepared for it in Portland that, you know, it won the next event, right? I think that if it was a thing in Portland, the first guy to bring like this sort of standardized archetype that existed at the time, you know, the Urshifu, Incineroar, Ogerpon, Hearthflame, that stuff, they would have absolutely dominated that tournament. I think that the same is going to be for the first tournament for Regulation H, almost exclusively.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to win it. Like, these two will be on the team almost exclusively because this is the first thing people should gravitate towards. Because Ursaluna Farigiraf pairs really well with Incineroar. It pairs really well with, I think Gyarados is going to be the Pokemon for this archetype because you want taunt stuff. You have a Moongus.
They're going to click Thunder Wave and it'll be fun.
Yeah, Rillaboom.
Okay, so like, I do agree. I think Bloodmoon is like pretty much the big guy #1 to look out for, just because it has, I'm pretty sure he's
on the box.
One of the few, yeah, I would say he's on the box, he's on the cover.
Using a physical attack.
I was gonna say, I think also another Pokemon to kind of look out for is, obviously both Ursalunas I think are scary because there is just an immediate lack of fighting types in this format. There, obviously, not really a whole lot to do. I think like, I looked at the fighting type list, you pretty much only have like Homo and like a few other notable ones, like Hisui and Lilligant will be a thing for Sun. Palmont you'll probably see a bit. Tauros,
I stand by the Tauroses. I stand by the Tauros.
Yeah, I think Tauros is neat. But I think for the most part, like, obviously, normal types are going to be eating pretty well in this format. I think Porygon 2 will easily be, like, a top 5 mon in the game.
Yeah.
Just because, like, it's so good at what it does, and it's very similar to 2017, where just, like, there are no fighting types. And now it has access to Terra, so it makes it a lot easier to kind of, you know, move around that weakness.
Yeah.
And in a certain vein, it kind of makes Porygon 2 even more valuable because now, with the lack of fairies, it can become a fairy, and just take that role for itself.
And it doesn't need to sacrifice a move for it. It wants to run Terra Blast.
Yeah, it wants Terra Blast.
Here's a question. Here's something that just crossed my mind. There are like no fairies and no fighting types. Are Scrafty's stocks a little bit up? I don't think it's like huge. It's an intimidating fighting type with Fake Out.
Does it still get Super Fang?
I think it does. It does.
Okay, then maybe. I was gonna say Super Fang is like Scrafty's like big thing that it has over Incin.
Yeah, I could see this possibly being like a set that gets ran like Fake Out, knockoff Super Fang, close combat. Maybe
it's
Drain
somewhat
Punch.
real.
Yeah, I just think that like literally people are gonna be desperate for fighting types, like because I wouldn't be shocked if people tried Conk out. I think him on top might get some usage. The one that I'm kind of looking at. What is it? The one I'm looking at right now is kind of Gallade because people seem to gravitate towards this guy a lot, like in just every format. But now that like the power creeps kind of like back down, there really is nothing stopping Gallade from just clicking like Clam Sacred Swords or Clam Psycho Cuts and like doing a lot of damage. You're also struggling to find ghost types this format because the ghost type slot was almost always Fluttermane. So now a lot of teams probably just won't even have a ghost to switch in on Sacred Sword. I
was gonna say, I guess we get to talk about Gholdengo now, because this guy is clearly, welcome back, Gholdengo. Everyone was talking about Palafin being like really, really good. I feel like we just ignored the Gholdengo in the room, because this guy just does not have. I think literally it's just straight buffs. There are an unprecedented amount of normal types that are popular going into this format. Specs and Nasty Plot are both fantastic.
84 is no longer low speed.
Yeah, like this is good speed. Obviously, literally, I don't think anything really stops Gholdengo from being a menacing threat to a lot of teams. Again, like, obviously, not only has Steel been a very hard type to kind of like come across in this generation of Pokemon, but I would say this was already probably the de facto best Steel type in the game, and it just gets to run around now with way less bothering it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Incin is just like a thing, but like I don't think it's. I would say it didn't stop it from being good in Reg F. Didn't stop it from being good in Reg G for the most part. I would say definitely I was like, Gold is probably going to be one of the best Pokemon in the game. It's just very obvious. The fact that it also gets around a lot of redirection shenanigans as well. Because now, I was going to say, without Ogerpon, people are going to kind of be just like grasping at straws.
Amoonguss is like the number one redirection mon too. So now you have the Spore immunity. So
yeah, it's very, very good. What else? I was saying
guys too.
Wait, which guys?
Mouse.
Oh yeah, the gimmicks. All right. Oh boy.
Yeah, I think we should cover the gimmicks that become viable once again. So was it Mouse Ape, Dondozo,
Psy Spam. I guess we could put Lilicole in there. I wouldn't
put Lilicole, to be honest.
Fair. I would say, yeah, I think that's fair. I would say it does pair up with these guys a lot. We could put Lycanroc and T-Tar. You actually just put all the weathers, because we'll talk about those too. Because like, what is it? Excadrill is a guy again now.
And Pelicopter, probably Basculin.
Basculegion,
I mean, yeah. All right. So is that every weather? Oh, snow. We need to talk about Baxcalibur plus Ninetales, which did good in Regulation H.
I actually want to talk about Baxcalibur because that guy, that was another guy I looked at that I was really excited for.
Oh, Sun. Probably Venucle.
So you'll put Venucle, but you won't put Lilligant.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Venucle because I like being able to click Weather Ball.
You can click Weather Ball with Torkoal.
Shut up. All right.
Okay.
So here we are. Mouse Ape. It kind of sucks that we lost the best Follow Me user in Ogerpon because these guys would always run like safety goggles bulk, right? So I don't think Mouse Ape's going to be good, right? Because now we have like a lot more BS spread options.
Yeah, there's a lot more spread moves and things are admittedly tankier than before. I think also I would say two of the most common Pokemon you're going to be running into are both Ursaluna forms. So like your Rage Fist is not doing anything to them and Drain Punch is definitely not killing them unless you have like two bulk ups.
Yeah.
So like, it's
you could do like Amoonguss plus like Blursa lead and then immediately just like, Rage Powder, Terra Normal, Hyper Voice.
Yeah. I would say you could even protect in Hyper Voice because the Rage Fist will just probably go into Amoonguss.
Yeah.
So I would say I think Annihilate in itself has some niche because again, fighting type, ghost type is useful.
Scarfade
and
gets
it's pretty
better.
Good setup on. Yeah. I would say it's got some good stats. And I would say obviously access to recovery is pretty nice, but I think overall this guy is probably gonna be also grasping at straws a lot just because all the new Pokemon that got added seem to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Now we get to talk about this stat tumor of a Pokemon.
It's better than it was in Reg A, but like worse than Yeah, but worse off. Or sorry, no. It's worse than it was in Reg A, but better than it was in Reg B, if that's a good way to put it. It's like right in between. There's more Haze users, but there's less Pokemon that outspeed it.
I think that's fair. I was gonna say, so the way I've objectively looked at Dondozo is that because I've never thought this Pokemon was good. I thought it was okay in Reg A. I would say no one ever likes using it. I
used it as a bit for like a whole month.
What is it? I think so. Obviously, I think a lot of people are gonna gravitate to this first, especially with Psy Spam. My best advice would probably be don't, because I think I would say other than Blood Moon, I think this would be like priority number one because no competent player has a bad matchup into these guys. They will always prep. Yeah, everyone has a line, and Dondozo never gets to play freeform. It always has to play to a line because it's stupid and bad, and it doesn't actually like give you anything.
Dondozo's a win con. It's not your mon, if that makes sense.
Exactly. And I would say losing a couple Pokemon like Chi-Yu and Qianpao kind of make it way harder for it to do its job. I don't think a lot of people genuinely remember Series 1 Dondozo or Reg A Dondozo, but like no one knew what to do with it for the most part. They kind of just slapped partners on it and hoped for the best. Like I think a good example is like if you look at the first Dondozo team to do like really well, like I think it was like Chuppa's.
Yeah, you got
it had Arcanine, why would you ever have Arcanine on your Dondozo team? You know, like,
Yeah,
it's
he
just
was
kind of like
he was trying to play Good Stuff's Dondozo because it was the first turn of the format, but like in reality, Dondozo is a hyper offense mon. It's you need to get rid of the answer and then you just go into Dondozo.
So like both I would say you also lose Fluttermane, you lose a lot of Paradox Pokemon that would have been helpful to your cause. It's just like it loses a lot of things that it really wanted. It still has Pokemon like Gholdengo, and like Palmot that kind of do. I would say Glimora is obviously a big one.
Yeah.
That it still gets to keep. But I think overall
so good
that
in
like
this format too.
yeah, Glim is really interesting because it's one of the few poison types that I think really gets around. But like yeah, I think Dozo is just not nearly gonna. I would say it will pop off because people are excited to use their Gimmick mon again. But it's like I think especially with the like Rillaboom and Incineroar running around, and those guys made Dondozo's life miserable in Reg F. I would say even the advent of certain Pokemon, I think like Sinistcha, which will probably be way more popular because it is pretty solid around the board. I think even something like Clefable becomes more of a viable option for a Pokemon, and that has Unaware. Skeledirge is another one that could pop up more. Like, I think there are just more Pokemon that are going to resurface that just cause Dondozo issues. And don't say your Psy Spam will answer it. I'm really happy that you think that'll work. But if Instant doesn't lose to the Dondozo, then I hate to break it to you, it won't lose to Psy Spam either. It's like...
Do you think we can finally play Terrifier Heatwave Colossal?
And that'll be the end of the video. I'm so glad you kept me on, Margos, but like...
I don't know, the thought crossed my mind. I'm like, is it usable now? Probably not.
Alright, but I'm done with my Dondozo Psy Spam hit piece.
Alright, what do you think of Corviknight?
Oh, this guy will be cool, I think.
Yeah, because it was already decent in like we saw Len in a Reg F tournament take a Sand Corviknight team all the way to like what, top 4, top 8?
No, he bubbled. He bubbled Knoxville.
Oh, he bubbled it. But he was making a crazy
run he was doing well with it.
Yeah. And it had like no restricted, no paradox, so
yeah. Oh no, he had bundle.
Oh yeah. It was a Reg B team.
It was just his Reg C team. But
yeah.
But no, I think we could see something like Corviknight because I think a big deal that like not a lot of people are mentioning, because it's only been one day of the format.
It's what?
Like I would say it's only been one day of like the format being like revealed. There are no electric types in this.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, wait.
Every big guy got removed, and I'm not complaining because I hate Raging Bull with every fiber of my being.
There's always an electric type that ruins the format. There's always one.
There's always one, but like, what is it? The best guy you probably have now is Rotom, and Rotom is good probably still. Like I think Rotom Heat, Rotom Wash.
Heat, yeah, because Rotom Wash struggles with Rillaboom a little bit, so I think Rotom Heat's probably the best, especially since like we lost Urshifu. Like Rotom Heat gets so much better.
Exactly. No, like I think Rotom Heat will be good. So like obviously, really Corviknight only has a few Pokemon that are like, on its hit list, and because now like there are no, I would say the only Ghost type that you have to fight is Gholdengo, and you weren't beating Gholdengo anyways. So like now it really kind of doesn't have 4 move slot syndrome anymore. I mean, like it might still, but I think Corviknight sets get to be a little more like streamlined because you always have to struggle between Brave Bird, Iron Head, Body Press, Bulk Up, Iron Defense, Taunt, Tailwind, Roost. Like you needed all of these moves to kind of like do anything. Now you kind of just get to run Iron Defense, Body Press, and you don't have to worry about it at all.
Yeah. Also, since there's no fairy types, like no need for like steel. I guess
so I would say overall it's a lot better off. What else is like a real Pokemon?
I think something we should note is non-prankster Tailwind users. Now that Tornadus is gone, like the two prankster or the big 3 Tailwinders are going to be Whimsicott, Murkrow, Talonflame. And I don't think Murkrow is going to be that good. I think it's going to be mostly Whimsicott, Talonflame, because Talonflame also going to be Wisp for like Rillaboom and stuff. Whimsicott. It's probably going to be the #1 Tailwinder, but I think non-prankster is going to be interesting.
I would say, Pelipper Rocket. Normal Mence actually is probably a mon again because it's got
no fairies. Salamence is insane.
Yeah, I would say it's good in a Dozo too. Like unless they have order up, but like you have to pick order up then.
What do we think of
No,
Kilowattrel?
Let's
I
talk
mean,
about
there are no
Volcarona.
electric types, and you want a fast Tailwinder. This guy might do something.
Let's talk about Volcarona instead.
Yeah.
I think Volk's gonna be really good. Obviously, very, very little that stops this Pokemon. Obviously, it is probably the setup guy. Fiery Dance is amazing. Heat Wave's really good. Even as a redirector, it's a really good support mon. Just not a lot that like deals with this guy. I think like the first guy you'll see pop up that like really starts to like, obviously you mentioned that like Fridge Raff Ursa will probably be a thing. I think this guy probably is the best bet at like kind of dispelling that off the bat, because you just QD and they can't really stop it. I would say if you have Giga Drain or Bug Buzz, it's pretty useful. It's good into Incineroar. I would say like even support sets again. Rocky Helmet is nice, so you can always bait stuff out. All right, that's all I wanted to do. We talk about Volcarona. We can go to the next Pokemon. I just wanted to segue off Kilowattrel. I had to get you out of that dark place.
I was just curious. I was just curious your thoughts. You know, you need an electric type, you need a Tailwind user. Technically, that guy does both, and it's better than Oricorio. What was I gonna say? Oh, there was one that crossed my mind just now, and I completely forgot about it. Where'd he go? There's a few Pokemon. Like, there's a lot of weird mid-tier Pokemon that become like pretty okay.
Like Big Bridge.
Garganacl.
Yeah,
Garganacl's interesting because the format is the format's slower now. It's a lot slower. Not slower like speed, but slower like gameplay.
Yeah, pacing. Obviously, this guy coming back is good for two things: Dondozo and Psy Spam. I think like obviously it's just really good into them. It is also like one of the few Pokemon that can hard wall Gholdengo. Just because it salt cures once and the game's over.
Wait.
Yep.
These two are gonna be egregious.
It'll be fun. I mean, they were in the game together anyways already.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but like, they fell off after a while because literally Garganacl stopped being good. Like, Reg.
Like I think.
C.
Yeah, honestly, I think you'll see probably like Rillaboom, Garg, fat comps just like pop up and be annoying. Obviously, it's one of the few wide guard users left too, so like it's really good at what it does.
Actually, we didn't lose any wide guard users. I think we just lost reasons to use wide guard.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh crap.
Because no one was clicking wide guard with like Paradox Mons.
Oh, do I get to talk about Chestnut? Please
Chestnut is real. Chestnut is real.
No, it's real. You can belly drum with this guy and
put
like
it next to a
welcome
Rillaboom.
back Snorlax. Yeah. Like honestly, I think this is genuinely real. I feel like an insane person, but like this feels real.
We should.
You can just run. You can run Spiky Shield
after Worlds.
You get Spiky Shield.
Oh yeah, Spiky Shield. We should build this after Worlds. I think Chestnut's cool.
Dude, I think Chestnut is sick.
Oh, we should talk about Snorlax.
Oh yes.
Snorlax finally has his moment.
Finally.
I've been waiting for this. Because the thing is, like, Snorlax wasn't good almost exclusively because he's never existed in a format without, like, Iron Hands and Flutter Mane.
Yeah. Like, I would say, it has so much to contend with that makes it, like, just annoying. I would say, I think it'll be good. Obviously, it's got to deal with both Ursas being stronger normal types off the bat. Yeah, but I think Sinistcha is going to be... I think Sinistcha will be a fantastic Pokemon in this format. It finally has, like, the stats to play with everything. And obviously also like it just has access to some egregiously stupid moves that like make no sense.
Do you run Facade as your main move?
You run Facade or you can run Double Edge. You can really just pick
you don't really run Body Slam.
Slam.
Because
you don't want to run Body Slam.
It doesn't do a lot of damage. You have a risk of making Sling slower than you.
So yeah, congrats. You have Facade. But like no, there are a lot of things that I think Sinistcha can do. Obviously, Sinistcha is also one of those Pokemon that I think will do very nicely into the Bloodmoon Ursa Giraffe stuff, because even if it's not like Trick Room support, Calm Mind is another fantastic set that can really just like get going fast.
I think Rocky Helmet's gonna be good.
Rocky Helmet will be amazing on this guy. He has two great abilities. I think this guy is very real. I'm gonna just try and like blitz through like a few Pokemon that I think will be interesting. I would say, like, I think, this guy has so many good moves. That's Life Dew too. It's got like.
I'm so excited to run Sinistcha. That's one of my favorite Pokemon.
No, this guy is really, really good.
Yeah. Dude, Snorlax, Sinistcha, Incineroar, Gyarados.
Gothitelle. Welcome back, Controlax.
Yeah. Controlax is back. This is my favorite archetype.
What is it? So yeah, blitz mode now, because I'm just gonna list off a bunch of Pokemon that I think are interesting. Como is really interesting. Just I would say again, one of the few fighting types and one of the only fighting types that's actually doing damage.
Body press
Archaeodon's Archaeodon's really interesting because now it actually gets to play the game. Hopefully. It's still got a lot of things to deal with, but I would say living is not one of them actually now. Because I would say it gets to hit all of its moves and nothing in the game really hits it hard anymore besides like Gastrodon. Speaking of which, Gastrodon is obviously going to be very good. Good in the Dondozo, good Yawn Pokemon.
Wait, at some point I accidentally wrote Dondozo on the screen. Oops. Hopefully that hasn't been there for a while.
What is he? Yeah. Gastrodon's going to be really good. Arcanine, both forms. Hisui and Arcanine especially, I think is going to be really, 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 really good. Because not a lot of people are going to realize that it's still very good at what it does. Choice band, support sets, Will-O-Wisp is really useful right now. Rock moves are really useful right now. It's one of the few Pokemon that gets access to Howl still. King Gambit, obviously going to be really, really good that we haven't talked about. Swords Dance is a strong move. Tyranitar is really strong. It's going to be very good.
Broken.
Yeah. We didn't talk about Baxcalibur yet, so I'll talk about Bax real quick. Bax, really, really, really good. Swords Dance, Dragon Dance, Loaded Dice, Clear Amulet, all gonna be really, really good. It helps that Bax is also really, really strong into just, you know, Fire, Water, Grass in general. So that's another big one. Crap.
Can't forget about Crabominable. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah, baby.
Houndstone, maybe? I don't know.
I thought Empoleon would be kind of cute.
Cleavor?
Yeah,
Wait,
Excadrill.
Cleavor? What Cleavor?
Oh yeah, Cleavor is cool.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Cleavor.
That's, I mean, I don't know what to say about Cleavor. It's decent
got
into
Ross.
without Urshifu around. It's actually pretty good into like if the standard archetype is Incin, Rillaboom, Gyarados, you technically hit all of them for super effective.
Oh, I guess we could talk about Gudra. Hisui and Gudra is another
it's
body.
the same it's always been.
Yeah, it's another body presser, but this one has the gift of, I guess, being also immune to Amoonguss, and it also walls Rilla out.
And you don't need to run Shell Armor anymore because nothing's.
You don't, yeah.
Oh yeah, you get the good ability.
Else? Yeah, you get the other abilities. Hitmontop is a funny fake outer, not really.
Wide Guarder,
though.
Probably not the best. It doesn't do that much to P2.
It does have one of the. It's one of the few Pokemon that still gets faint. So if you really wanted budget Urshifu, there you go. Yeah, Como's gonna be really good. Hisui and Lilligant again that I mentioned. It's gonna be good next to Torkoal. Magnezone, we might see pop out of the dirt hole that is its house. Because it has Magnet Pull. Yeah, it has Magnet Pull for Gold and Corv. It's a strong electric type. Has 3 great abilities. Meowscarada is another interesting one. Protein's really good. It's a good. Yeah, good Dondozo answer. Metagross. Obviously not much to really say about that guy other than he hits hard and he has access to Heavy Slam now. So
did Meowscarada get knockoff pre-DLC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mimikyu will be neat. Mudsdale I think will be neat as one of the few ground types in the game. 3 amazing abilities.
Does Mudsdale get Body Press?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty good.
I would say that'll be very good. Orthworm is a funny worm.
Orthworm's gonna be decent.
Might see Persian Alola a little bit. It has
I'm
niche
excited for him.
Has the fastest fake out in the format. Has pretty good utility moves. It's an actual good dark type with foul play. Yeah, Parting Shot. I would say it was the original guy, the original cat that got Parting Shot.
Put knockoff on it too.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it's a real set.
Don't massacre my boy like that. Politoed, I think I mentioned earlier, is one of the few Pokemon that gets Perish Song again.
It did used to run knockoff for P2. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Obviously, I would say Politoed is in a lot of ways inferior to Pelipper, but it does have it has a few cute things that it can do. Just like historically, it's always been able to do. Porygon 2, obviously fantastic Pokemon. We talked about it a lot today. Porygon Z, I think, on the other hand, is another Pokemon that we might see like crawl out of a.
That might be a Dondozo partner.
Yeah, just Specs, Tri Attack, or Hyper Beam something. Congrats! Now your Dondozo gets to like play the game a little bit.
I think that might be the Dondozo partner, to be honest. The more I think about it.
Obviously, we didn't talk about Rillaboom a lot, but I think Rillaboom will obviously be the best Pokemon in the format. I think even better than Incin, just because of what it's capable of doing this go around.
Gyarados definitely top 5, I think.
Yeah, you want to talk about Gyarados? Because
yeah,
I think I'm at the end of my list.
I didn't talk about Gyarados when the whole point of this video is just to explain to people why Palafin sucks.
Let's talk about why Palafin sucks.
Okay, all right. So let me give some context. In Regulation C, we had a archetype called Palabalance, and it was really annoying. And I said in a tweet that I think that Gyarados is better than Palafin just by a little bit. And then, you know, a bunch of people came after me saying that was stupid. Slowly over time, Palafin stopped being used because people started using Gyarados, because Gyarados has one of the best movesets of all time in Thunder Wave, Taunt, Waterfall, and whatever the last move you want to run is. I would do Protect a lot, because you don't really need much else besides that. You run Safety Goggles as your item, but if you have an Incineroar nowadays, you can run like a Citrus Berry or some other like decent, you know, quick recovery item. It's not faster than Palafin, but it can be, because a lot of Palafin don't bother running speed. They like to click Jet Punch and be bulky. Thunder Wave plus Waterfall is really good. You can cycle in on things like, you know, opposing Rillaboom, where a Palafin would not be able to switch in on a Rillaboom, and even -1 Woodhammer still one-shotting it, where -1 Woodhammer will not one-shot a Gyarados, because Gyarados has Intimidate, and it's not hit super effective. Also, there are no electric types. Yeah, Gyarados, probably the face of balance next to Incineroar Rillaboom.
I agree. Let's see. Yeah, I think we covered every Pokemon I wanted to cover. I guess the only one that's left is like Tyranitar, because this guy is historically very good, and it's, I would say we saw it in a couple formats where like Brilliance and we're all legal and stuff, and it did pretty well for itself.
Welcome back, Terraflying, Terrablast, Tyranitar.
Yeah, actually. But no, I would say now it actually gets access to a good partner in Sand with Excadrill, and I would say those guys are very good. But I would say it's kind of just fun. I'm excited to see like what T-Tar can do again, because I would say I've missed that guy a lot. I think it's just a really fun Pokemon.
This guy's also a lot better with Urshifu gone, because it never got to play the game with Clear Amulet and no Urshifu.
Yeah. And I would say the only Pokemon the only Pokemon that I think I want to talk about last is Araquanid, because we started by talking about this guy. We're gonna end by talking about this guy. This has historically been a very interesting Pokemon. I would say you have access to Water Bubble Liquidation. You have access to Terra Water Bubble Liquidation. I would say you can do a lot of damage with this thing. It has historically only been really good at doing that. And I would say this is coming from a guy that won Worlds with it.
Yeah.
It really only does this very well. It does have some unique moves. I would say Araquanid is one of the few Pokemon I think that really, really gets to take advantage of Substitute as a move. Which is kind of like a weird note to mention, but not a lot of Pokemon. I would say every Pokemon can use Substitute, but not a lot of them are good at it. It's kind of the same way Toxic works, where every Mon got Toxic for a little bit, but only some of them were really, really good at using it. Yeah. Araquanid is one of those Pokemon where like it is very, very good at using Substitute just because of what it can do behind it.
It's a lot like Landorus. Like it's a pressure Pokemon where it's like, I take a KO this turn, you need to protect on the Trick Room, so you Substitute instead, and now you have like
exactly
a free win basically.
No, I would say it's really good at doing those things. I would say unfortunately it just doesn't get a lot of good bug moves. Does it get Bug Bite still? It does get Bug Bite still.
Yeah, okay, Leech Life's better though.
Is it? I feel like Bug Bite's like kind of alright.
I mean, what are you gonna take with Bug Bite? The Snorlax Citrus Berry and that's it?
Yeah, and then they go down to 50%.
True. I don't know. Yeah, I think Leech Life's a little better.
Okay, I would say I think that's the last guy I want to talk about. I would like to see Araquanid do well. It has a Y-Guard for Bloodmoon Ursa and stuff like that, so I would say it's actually pretty good into both bears.
It's also naturally slower in one-shots.
Yeah, so I would say it's actually pretty good at doing that specifically. And with Clam, you can just block Instant Intimidate, and you can I think you could probably face tank Hyper Voice.
Yeah,
Terra
100%.
Hyper Voice for sure.
If you're AV, you can face tank Terra Normal Blood Moon.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Quick note: I ran this at Portland, and I lost to Eternal Snowman in my win-in, so I'm still gonna consider it good. So I think that Farigiraf Araquanid's actually a really cool combo. What I did at the event was I actually ran Rain Dance on the Farigiraf for manual rain. And I had my Farigiraf be slightly slower than the Araquanid, so Farig was min speed, Araquanid was a little bit higher, because you can set up Rain Dance, you block Fake Out, you block Grassy Glide, and then you get Terra Normal, or Terra Water, Mystic Water, Liquidation, and Rain versus things, which I'm pretty sure I one-shot a Rillaboom with that a few times.
Bro.
So, decent option. I think it needs to have Farigiraf next to it, so you don't lose to Rillaboom.
Probably, but I think it'll be a fun option.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully that Dondozo text wasn't on screen too long. This is more of a podcasty video anyways, so, you know, it doesn't really
Okay.
matter. Thank you all for watching, everybody. James's Twitter will be linked in the description down below. James does art. You
Hooray.
should check out his art.
Dude, I need to draw more.
Yeah. All right. Go to the doctor's appointment. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.